Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your May 2021 horoscope for Sagittarius, Moon, or Ascendant. So starting off here in the month of May, on the 1st, we have Mercury shifting into the sign of Taurus. So Mercury is now leaving behind Aries, which is this very active, adventurous, lively energy that we discussed back in the month of April. So as we've been going through this transit of Mercury and Aries, there's been energy all over the place. This has been crazy as Mars and Mercury are not friends. Mercury and Venus, however, are great friends, and so as Mercury comes into the sign of Taurus, this grounds this energy, this makes this more practical, where this logic, this communication becomes much more grounded. We're able to navigate this energy much better here, where you will feel this groundedness coming into the month of May. Now, along with that, Uranus will meet up with the Sun on the 1st as well, for those of you who are following those 3 extra planets. And so this is an interesting energy as our consciousness is being exploded through this Uranus transit. So this is a great time for this flash of inspiration, this insight, where we can see these unexpected changes coming in through our consciousness, through our awareness. Now, moving forward here to the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. Venus is shifting ahead into the sign of Taurus, where we'll meet up in this conjunction with Mercury. This is a great influence. Here we can see the communication style. We can see the way of conveying logic and understanding coming into this peaceful, more grounded energy, as Venus is at home here in the sign of Taurus and giving the support, giving the aid to Mercury as well. This is a great transit for practical thinking, for decision making, for negotiating, as we're going through this transit here of Mercury and Venus in Taurus. Along with that, Mercury is going to meet up with Rahu later on here on the 4th as well. This is a great position also, as Mercury and Rahu are friendly to one another to a certain extent. This will give great aspiration, great inspiration towards thinking, towards researching, towards collecting data and information. Remember that Rahu is a planet of obsession, and so Rahu is also connected to technology. It is connected to research, and so anyone who is planning on learning a new subject, anyone who is planning on doing deep research, anything that is involved in writing, this is a great time, as Rahu is going to blow up this Mercury energy, where this gives us a tremendous amount of curiosity, a tremendous amount of communication that we can use at this time. On the 13th of May, Venus will also meet up with Rahu. Venus and Rahu are great friends to one another. Venus, of course, because it is the planet of luxury, of beauty, of wealth, of attraction, and Rahu, again, being this planet of obsession. It wants more. It wants to gain something. It is an ambitious planet. And so Rahu and Venus get together, and the things that you want to achieve, the things that you want to gain and attract into your life, this amplifies this. This gives you the ambition to achieve these things that you would like. And so you can see, especially for those of you who have Venus placed in a good condition within your chart, this gives you the ability to acquire the wealth, to acquire the luxury, to acquire the possessions that you are looking towards throughout this transit here in the month of May. As we move forward on the 14th of May, the Sun will shift into Taurus, marking a new focus, a new center of consciousness, as we are putting our focus now into this more stable, more grounded, more peaceful energy. Remember that the Sun was exalted in Aries, where we had all of this energy, we had all of this drive, all of this liveliness. Now, as the Sun comes into its enemy sign of Taurus, this is where the Sun loses its energy, because remember that the Sun and Venus are not friends. So here the Sun is calmed down, is slowed down in the sign of Taurus, where this is a great time to relax, to go inward, to ground yourself, to slow all of this energy down and to really bring yourself back into the present. Moving forward here on the 18th of May, Venus will meet up with Mercury once again. So this is a huge time here again of this communication where we're using our speech in a beautiful, peaceful way. So this is great for communication. This is great for writing. This is great for negotiation. Any deal making that you are trying to get across during this time. Moving forward here on the 19th of May, the Sun will meet up with Rahu. So now we're getting closer to this eclipse season as the Sun is coming closer to the position of Rahu. And remember that wherever Rahu is, it is going to explode. It's going to give this illusion of this bigger image or this bigger illusion than what it may seem to be. And so here we want to be careful as Rahu can explode the ego. This can give a strong sense of self. And so this is where we can see a lot of ego issues coming up with Rahu here with the Sun. This is a great time for confidence. This is a great time for stepping up and moving forward, taking the risk, taking the action to get the things done that you want in your life. But once again, be careful of that expansion, that explosion of the ego that can take place here during this transit. Now, all of these planets of the Sun, of Venus, of Rahu, of Mercury are all going to receive a fourth aspect over from Jupiter and Aquarius. So this is really going to expand the knowledge, expand the insight. Again, with all of these placements, there's so much brilliance, there's so much practicality here where we can use this knowledge in a more grounded way, in a more practical way towards our goals, towards the things that we want to get done. As this energy is slowed down, it's calmed down here in the sign of Taurus. On the 23rd of May, Saturn will station retrograde, and we will talk about this in a future video. But this is a major time of going back and looking over the structures, looking over the routines, looking at the things that you have in place, and making sure that you have the proper discipline, that you have the proper order, the proper structure in your life. This also affects us collectively as Saturn is a societal planet. This is all about the structure, the rules that are put in place here in our physical construct. Moving forward on the 26th of May, Mercury will shift into Gemini, into its own sign, and so here the intellect is very high. This becomes a strong position of communication, of writing, of connecting to others, of pulling in information from different places, and you can feel the curiosity, you can feel the adventure starting to increase here of wanting to learn, wanting to explore more, where this can really help in expanding your knowledge depending on where Mercury is positioned in your chart. On the 28th of May, Venus will shift into the sign of Gemini as well, where it will meet up with Mercury once again. So again, this communication style of negotiating, of making peace, of resolving issues, of being able to make deals continues to increase here with this aspect, this conjunction between Venus and Mercury. On the 29th, we will see Mercury station retrograde as well. So we will get into that in a future video. A lot of major things that are coming here. Now for the position of the moon, I will talk about that in a future video. But major moments that we will go through here are on the 11th of May when we will have a new moon in the Kritika Nakshatra. So this will fall at the end of the sign of Aries. And this will be an interesting one as it will be in a conjunction with Uranus. We will talk more about that in a future video. Also, we have the big event of the full moon lunar eclipse happening in Anuradha in the sign of Scorpio here on May 26th. So that is a huge event as that will shift us into eclipse season. Starting off here for those with a Sagittarius moon or Sagittarius Lagna, we have Mercury, Venus, and the Sun, which will be shifting out of your 5th house into your 6th house, into the sign of Taurus, where it will meet up with Rahu, and eventually will receive the 5th aspect over from Jupiter. So this is a very interesting combination, as this is Mercury and Venus, which are not traditionally friends with your ruler Jupiter. Jupiter is here to give an assist, though, especially as we're shifting into this seventh house, where we will start to see things shift in terms of relationships and connection. To start off here with these planets all in the sixth house, this is an area where you may have to use your communication skills, your intellect, to move through obstacles and difficulties at this time. This is a huge time of using your skill sets, your logic, what you've learned, what you've gained out of that fifth house, and applying it towards your goals, towards the things that you need to accomplish. All of this happening here in your sixth house of conflict. This is very interesting, as Venus is in its home sign here in this sixth house. Again, Venus is not a huge friend to Jupiter. So this is a very interesting time where, again, you can see a lot of debates, a lot of arguments, a lot of disagreements, a lot of conflict that you may have to use your intellect and your skills to work through. As these planets shift forward into your seventh house, this is where you will see negotiations and connections start to move more slowly, start to move more smoothly, and especially as this is Mercury shifting into its home sign of Gemini. Now, we'll see this even more so towards the end of May, when Mercury stationed retrograde in Gemini, where your communication skills, your thought process will become much more deeper, much more logical through this retrograde. Remember that a retrograde is when a planet is going through a review period. So, despite all of these negative and all of these assumptions about this Mercury retrograde being something negative, this is actually going to help you in the communication, in the thought process, because this is going to slow down this Mercury energy, giving you enough time to review, to go over details, and to think much more deeper through this transit. And as this sits in your seventh house, this is going to work well in business partnerships, in relationships of any kind. This communication is going to be much more clear, much more easy to understand. Now, we're also going to see Saturn station retrograde in your second house. And so this is a very interesting time where communication is going to go smoothly. However, your thoughts and your way of rationalizing things may start to have some conflicts and difficulties until we get to this Saturn retrograde, where things will shift backwards and this energy will flow more smoothly. Again, these retrogrades are going to help you tremendously, as these are not planets that are friends to your ruler Jupiter. So the retrograde are going to help you to much more clearly rationalize and communicate the points that you're trying to get across, and will help you to make better and clearer decisions as these planets shift backwards. We're also going to see towards the end of this month a full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So this will be a lunar eclipse happening back in your 12th house. Great time for meditation, great time to go inward, especially because remember that this lunar eclipse is happening when the nodes are closest to the sun and moon. And so this full moon will sit with K2, K2 being the planet of mystical knowledge, spirituality. K2's job is to pull us out of the Maya, out of the illusion. So this becomes a great time of meditation, of self-reflection, of going inward, of isolating through this transit. And on the 11th, we will also see a new moon in the sign of Aries. This will come into a conjunction with Uranus. This will be happening in your fifth house, where this becomes a great time for a new project. And we will talk more about that as we get into future videos as well. To finish it off, for those of you with the Sagittarius moon or Sagittarius ascendant, I pulled some cards from the Vedic Astrology deck. So the first card that comes up is the Chitra Nakshatra. This is a huge time of your achievements, your growth. Again, a lot of you are going to be going through some obstacles with that sixth house activation. But as that seventh house comes into play, this becomes a great time to push forward towards your goals, towards your business, your achievements, using your intelligence, your practicality to move towards this growth, especially as our next card here is Taurus. So using those artistic skills, using those practical skills to move towards the direction that you would like to go in. Next card here is Atara Bhadrapada. So again, you are growing. You are gaining great wisdom through these obstacles and challenges. And there is something to say about this Atara Bhadra Nakshatra of duality and duplicity of these obstacles, these conflicts, of seeing both sides of a situation and how to come into a place of balance. Next card here is the Anurata Nakshatra. So this is a great time of devotion. Again, that sixth house is going to be heavily activated. So staying disciplined, staying on task with the things that you'd like to achieve is huge. Next card is the Purva Ashada Nakshatra. And so this is a huge time of weaving. Remember the basket of this Purva Ashada, weaving the reality that you want to see come into focus. So this card being all about success, being all about the victory. So what is it that you want to weave into existence? What is the success that you want to see? Working towards this, and especially as our last two cards here are the 10th house and the 11th house. Goal oriented is huge at this time, working towards your career, your achievements, the things that you want to accomplish. What are your hopes and dreams with that 11th house? And how does this look in terms of your status, your career, the mark that you're leaving on the world with this 10th house? So these are areas that are being heavily highlighted at this time. And it is huge that you can achieve a lot of success coming into this with the Anurata Nakshatra here and with the Purva Ashada Nakshatra, these nakshatras being directly related to success. So working hard towards your goals, putting in the discipline, you will see some big results here for those of you with the Sagittarius moon or Sagittarius Lagna. So this has been your May 2021 horoscope for Sagittarius moon or Sagittarius ascendant. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new content moving forward. Of course, we have this big event of the full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. You don't want to miss that, so make sure you hit that notification bell. If you are interested in learning more in depth on Vedic astrology, there is a course available on the Facebook group, Astrology Lessons with Daquan Jones. All of the information for that is down below in the description along with the comments. I want to thank you all so much for joining, and I will see you in the next video.